All right, so chapter 4, section 3 is called Multiplying Polynomials. And we're mostly going to focus on a binomial times a binomial today, which is what you see a lot of and probably what your Algebra 1 teacher spent a lot of time on. But I do want to show you example number 1, where it's not just a binomial times a binomial, but a binomial times a trinomial. So 2 terms times 3 terms. So the binomial is 2x plus 3, and the trinomial is x squared plus 4x minus 5. So 2 terms are binomial times 3 terms are trinomial, right? When you see these, you want to use the distributive property, which is essentially what the FOIL method is, but we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so we're going to take that first term, the 2x, and we need to multiply it by all 3 terms in the trinomial. Then we need to take our second term, the 3, and multiply it by all 3 terms in the trinomial. So before we combine our like terms, how many terms should we have? 6. Okay. This one, 1, 2, 3. This one, 1, 2, 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the first term, 2x, and multiply it by the 2x squared. If there's coefficients, multiply them. So 2 times 1 is 2. If you have a variable, write the base as long as it's the same, and then add the exponents. If it helps to write exponents of 1, so you remember to add them, do that. 1 plus 2 is 3. So the first term is 2x cubed. All right? Then we're going to multiply 2x times 4x. So multiply the coefficients. 2 times 4 is 8. Same base of x. Add the exponents. The 1 and the 1 is 2. So the second term is 8x squared. Then we need to multiply the 2x times the last term. So 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. So we have our first 3 terms. Now we need to get our second 3 terms. You can continue writing them horizontally and then just combine any like terms, or you can use this method that I'm about to show you, which is lining them up vertically. All right? So here's what you do. When you multiply the 3 times the x squared, you get 3x squared. So that's going to be a like term with the 8x squared, right? So directly underneath it, I'm going to write 3x squared because they're like terms, and I'm going to combine them in just a second. Okay? Now I'm going to multiply 3 times the 4x, which is 12x, which will be a like term with this one. So directly underneath it, I'm going to write plus 12x. Then I'm going to multiply the 3 times the negative 5. I don't have any other constants, so I'm going to write it at the end by itself over here. Now, since I lined them up vertically, all I need to do is combine them. There's nothing to combine this one with, so it's just 2x cubed. These 2 combine to get 11x squared. These 2 combine to get 2x. And then there's nothing to combine that one with, so just bring it down. All right, that's how you would multiply a binomial times a trinomial. But most of the time, you're going to see a binomial times a binomial. And the method that I already mentioned is the FOIL method. What does the FOIL stand for? Right. First, outside, inside, last. Okay? So I'll show you that method. I'm also going to show you the box method. And then I'm going to show you the 3 special patterns method. The special patterns only works when you have the special patterns. Okay? But I will show to you the 3 special patterns are as follows. The first one is when you have a binomial squared and you're adding the 2 terms. The second one is when you have a binomial squared and you're subtracting them. And then the third one is when you have a binomial times a binomial. One is adding, one is subtracting. Okay, so here's how the pattern works. Whatever term goes in for your A, you're going to square it, and then you're going to add 2ab plus b squared. The second one's almost the same, it's just the sign's different right here. It's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. And the third one is a squared minus b squared. The first two I find semi-useful, and I will use them once in a while. But generally, I just FOIL and combine the two middle terms. The third one, however, is quite useful and will actually end up saving you quite a bit of time. Okay? So I will do an example of each. So this first one is going to be example 2. This second one is going to be example 3. And this third one is going to be example 4. So let's do example 2. And example 2, I'm going to show you all three special, not all three methods. I'm going to use FOIL, I'm going to use the box, and I'm going to use the special patterns. So you're going to see the same problem 3 times in different ways, okay? Do you have to show all 3 ways on every single problem? No, please no, don't. Okay, pick one of them that you like and use that one. Or you can jump from problem to problem. One problem you want to use one problem you want to use another, whichever one you're comfortable with. All right, so let's do the pattern first. Oh, I need to give you the problem. The problem is 4s plus 3t quantity squared. Okay, so we have the binomial squared and we're adding it. All right, so if we want to use this pattern for this one right here, our A is going to be 4s, our B is going to be 3t. All right, so here's how it works. The first term is going to be our a squared. So a is 4s, so we're going to take the 4s and square it. Our second term is going to be 2 plus 2 times the a, which is 4s, times the b, which is 3t. And then the third term is just b squared. So plug in the 3t. And there's your 3 terms. Now you just need to simplify. So 4s squared means 4s times 4s, which is 16x squared. Okay? Then we're going to multiply 2 times 4s times 3t. So 2 times 4 times 3 is 8 times 3 is 24. So 24st. The third term is 3t squared. So 3t times 3t is 9t squared. Okay? So for the pattern, you just figure out what A and B are going to be, plug them into the pattern, and then simplify. Okay? Now I'm going to show you FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. So for FOIL, you want to rewrite this as a binomial times a binomial. So you're going to say 4s plus 3t, 4s plus 3t, and you're going to do first, outside, inside, last. So first is the first term times the first term. So 4s times 4s is 16s squared. Outside, the two farthest away from each other, so 4s times 3t is 12st. Inside, the two closest to each other ends up with another 12st. L is for last, so the 3t times the 3t, which is 9t squared. These two are like terms and they combine. And that usually happens almost every time you FOIL. Okay? So you end up with 16s squared plus 24st plus 9t squared. So same answer, same answer. Guess what? I'm going to show you one more method, and guess what? It's going to have the same answer. So this is the box method. So you're going to draw a box. You're going to divide it into 4 boxes, and across the top, you're going to write the 4s plus 3t, and along the left-hand side, you're going to write the 4s plus 3t, and then in each of the boxes, you're going to multiply what's above it and what's to the left. So for this box, it's 4s times 4s, which is the 16s squared. In this box, above it and to the left, so 12st. This box above it and to the left, so another 12st. And then this box above it and to the left, so 9t squared. When you do the box method, these two are going to be the ones that combine, and you'll get 16s squared plus 24st plus 9t squared. How many of you have had a teacher that taught you the box? A couple of you? So some people really like it, and they'll do every problem that way. Okay? All right, I'm going to move this up, and you'll see it in just a second. See it? Yes. Okay. So example number 3, I'm going to do that second pattern. And we are going to multiply 3x minus 5 quantity squared. Thank you. Okay? So this one, we're going to follow this pattern right here. So I'm going to move my paper up. So kind of right below it. So we need our A to be what's right here, which is the 3x. And we need our B to be what's right here. So it's the 5. Okay, don't accidentally say that it's negative 5, because the negative is part of the pattern. Okay, it's positive 5. So when you go to plug it in, you're going to square the A. So you're going to take the 3x and square it. Then you should have minus 2ab. So minus 2 times A, which is 3x, and B, which is 5, plus the B squared. So 5 squared. Then just simplify. So 3x squared is 3x times 3x, which is 9x squared. Then we've got negative 2 times 3x times 5, so that's what? Minus, I got 30x, and then 5 squared is 25. So using the pattern on that one helps a little bit. I almost prefer to FOIL on that, but this fourth example, I think actually saves a lot of time. The last pattern is the one that I really like. Okay, so it's 2p plus 3q times 2p minus 3q. And if you get good at this one, when you're multiplying, when we go to factoring, which is basically dividing, it makes that one even go faster. Okay, so in this case, your A is going to be the 2p, and your B is going to be the 3q. Okay? So you can see how short it is. It's just A squared minus B squared. All right? So the A is 2p. We want to square that, minus the B, which is 3q, squared. And then when you simplify it, it's super easy. Fast step. 2p times 2p is 4p squared. And 3q times 3q is 9q squared. So that one, I think, definitely saves time.